Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. So there are two shorts on Freelee's channel that are catching my eye, seem to have a similar theme of binge eating. The first one is entitled, "This is how I overcame serious binge eating permanently." And the other one is what binge eating really is. From purely observing how Freelee eats and how she recommends others to eat, we would look at how she eats and be like, you're binging on fruit. So it'll be interesting to see what she seems to think binge eating really is. We can assume that she is going to be looking at what binge eating really is from a outside of how she eats perspective, if that makes sense. She has said in the past that, not eating fruit is going to cause you to binge. And then someone eating like a cookie, she has said that's binging. And that's not. The what binge eating really is caught my eye initially because it'll be interesting to see what she thinks it is. Because then when we watch the other video where she says how she overcame binge eating, she's going to take that idea that she has of what binging is and apply it to herself. And we'll see if she actually was a binge eater. I have rambled long enough. Let's just jump right into it.
You're not weak. You are not crazy. You're not undisciplined. But you are undernourished, undereducated, and underprepared.
I think we can all agree binge eating does not mean any of what she said. I agree with her. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean like you're out of control. It doesn't mean you're undisciplined. I think there is some truth in the idea that you might be uneducated, because I'm thinking when I was binge eating, I was uneducated in the aspect of I was not knowledgeable of my own emotions. Binge eating was a reaction to a overload of emotions and feeling out of control, which caused me to then act in an out of control manner with food. There were times where I was undernourished, I was malnourished, and I was binging. Yes, but I don't think that the binging was being caused by the fact that I was malnourished. I was malnourished because of an unhealthy mindset and a lack of education in just myself, like knowledge of myself. A self-awareness was lacking. I think that idea of what uneducated means, I think that's where our shift in alignment of agreement is starting to make waves.
Binging is actually a beautiful thing. That's right, I said it. This is what people don't realize. It's a beautiful thing because it's your brain trying to protect you.
No. No. That is like saying harming yourself is a beautiful thing, because it's your brain's way of saying there's a problem. Now we disagree. Binging is not beautiful. And that's not to say it's an ugly thing. It is just a thing. Binge eating is just a disorder. It just is. It's just a thing that some people develop. Some people struggle with. It's not a beautiful or ugly thing. It just is. It just is. If it is telling us anything, it is saying there is an underlying issue up here that you are not addressing, you are not facing, you are burying something, and it is manifesting in this behavior that you don't want. To say it is a beautiful thing almost implies it is something you want. We want beauty in our life, so here's a beautiful thing. Don't you want it? No one wants binge eating disorder. No one wants it. It is not a beautiful thing. My God, I can't believe she said that.
It's your brain trying to protect you from life-threatening deficiencies and ultimately death.
So binge eating, which can be life-threatening, is a good thing because it tells you about other life-threatening deficiencies? That makes no sense.
By pushing this urgency to eat upon you.
Binge eating very rarely has to do with eating. I know that sounds weird. Almost entirely, it is a symptom of an underlying mental issue. I don't think she knows what binge eating is. This is not true across the board. This is just from my perspective, my experience, and those I have spoken to about this subject. And the pattern has been almost entirely, I'm not binging because I'm starving physically, like hunger. I'm binging because I am starving emotionally. I don't have healthy coping mechanisms. I am emotionally, mentally overwhelmed. And the only thing that eases it is to eat. And that only eases it for a moment. It is not an urgency because I am starving and I haven't eaten all day and I just want to eat everything. That's not binge eating disorder, at least to my understanding, from a mental perspective, because eating disorders are mental disorders, mental issues, and the physical symptoms are the overeating or undereating or other unhealthy behaviors that are attributed with certain eating disorders. Those are just symptoms of something going on.
So you must remember that we have a very large requirement for carbohydrates.
Undereating on carbohydrates will inevitably cause you to develop binge eating disorder. Is that what she's about to say?
Namely, glucose and fructose, the god and the goddess molecules. So if you don't get enough of this sugar, of this carbohydrate into your system, then you are going to binge.
Whew, boy. There's a lot to unpack here, and I'm just like, do I have the time? I don't know if I have the mental capacity to like do this, because I'm just like, what the fuck? When you elevate one food group or one macronutrient or one nutrient and you elevate it and you put it on a pedestal and you diminish the importance of all the others, which is essentially what she does, you are in fact restricting. That is a disorder. That is an eating disorder. Restriction is an eating disorder. You are perpetuating further disordered eating habits. That's what that is. And on top of that, by the elevation of one, you are creating fear of the others, which again is disorder. That's disordered behavior leading to disordered eating patterns, leading to the potential development of an eating disorder. Okay, my brain is saying that it's an oversimplification, but it's not that. It's just pure misinformation. It is pure fear-mongering. To say you don't eat this and you're gonna get this, that is just so damaging to people. You're making people fearful. If people are easily swayed by what you're saying, you are not doing them any favors. When your belief system is run by fear, it is easier for us viewers to fall victim and prey to people like her.
Along with fiber and water, very important binge busting trifecta. So binging is your brain's way of protecting you.
No, it's not. I don't know how many times when I was following her diet advice and I was eating fruit, breakfast, lunch, before dinner, and then dinner I would have my rice, I'd have my pasta, I'd have my veggies, I'd have big salads. And then what did I do? Because I was not addressing my mental issues and I was just burying them in a pile of fruit. I was just burying my emotional struggles under pounds and pounds of fruit. What would I do? I'd eat everything in sight just to numb and hide what I was feeling and trying to figure out why I'm a failure because I can't even do this right. Explain that to me. And I'm pretty sure I've heard a lot of people who followed the Raw Till 4 have the same experience.
You heard it here first. It's a beautiful thing.
No, it's fucking not. It is not. It makes you feel ugly and gross. And like I said, a failure because, oh my God, this is insane. We've reached insanity, people. All right, let's watch the other one, shall we? So she has no concept of what binge eating is, which means talking about her own experience with binge eating, I'm gonna suspect it wasn't really binge eating. She was just eating a normal amount of normal food.
This is how I overcame serious binge eating permanently. I added some awkward posing too to just help keep you watching.
Translation, I'm using my body as a selling point. And I'm body checking because I have dysmorphia. That's what she just said.
I'm 43 this year, but when I was in my 20s and 40 pounds heavier, I used to have a serious binge eating and purging problem.
So somehow I failed to mention the most obvious issue with what she just said. She said she struggled with a binge purge pattern, which implies she had bulimia. Bulimia and binge eating disorder are not the same thing. And to equate the two shows a clear misunderstanding of what binge eating disorder is.
Insert photo of normal looking human next to an insanely thin person. I'm no professional, but this is giving me body dysmorphia vibes, like strong ones.
Just because you were unhappy about a little extra weight does not automatically mean you had binge eating disorder. More likely, you were just overeating and not as active. But if you were honest, you wouldn't have a video to make in the first place talking about this topic.
So bad, in fact,
So bad, I was like a healthy weight. Maybe a few pounds overweight, but I was like a healthy weight at that time. Like she likes to tell people who struggled with anorexia that they were never anorexic. I'm gonna say she never really had binge eating disorder because she has proven that she doesn't know what it is.
Then I learned about a fruit-based diet. The beauty of a fruit-based diet is that it contains the binge-busting trifecta, I like to call it, and eliminates any urge to binge.
You brainwashed yourself into believing that. That's the great thing about brainwashing is you can actually brainwash yourself into believing things. So much so, you then dedicate your entire life and career to trying to brainwash and convince others you're right and the rest of the world is wrong. And that science is wrong. People who have gotten out of cults and they talk about how they basically brainwashed themselves when they entered a cult. This is the same thing. I'm listening to a person who did that, who continues to do that, who reaffirms their own belief system every single day by their own brainwashing techniques that they've applied to themselves. It's incredible the way the mind can work for us and against us.
That is an absolutely incredible claim that a diet that is just a day-long binge on fruit can somehow eliminate the urge to binge. There is the possibility that you eliminate the urge to do something while you're actively doing that thing.
Let's talk about the binge-busting trifecta. Fiber, water, carbs. So, fiber.
If you shit a lot and pee a lot, you're skinny.
Your stomach has stretch receptors which are maxed out with a high fruit meal due to the large amount of fiber. This sends a stop eating signal to the brain.
Here's the thing about eating disorders. Eating disorders kill. They shut off your body's ability to send those signals. Simply telling people to eat more carbs, drink more water, and eat more fiber is not an automatic flip on switch to those signals. That is not how it works. And you are just showing you have very little knowledge of eating disorders, despite claiming you've struggled with so many and you've helped so many people overcome them. You don't even understand the fundamentals of it all.
Number 2, water content. Most fruits contain 70% or more water, similar to our bodies. So a high fruit meal helps to stretch the stomach receptors as well.
Stretching your stomach and filling it up with water, high water content fruit, and tricking your body into thinking it's full when it's not, is not healthy.
Number 3, the carbohydrates. Sweet fruits are high in carbs and low in fat. They help stabilize blood sugar.
And fat is so scary.
And if enough fruit is eaten, it fills your body with glucose and fructose, which satisfies your brain's sweet cravings. Bam! Say goodbye to binging and excess body fat. I'm a fruit-based nutritionist.
There's nothing to back this up. You have sources that back it up, but it's biased sources that just reaffirm and validate your pre-existing belief system, and you're not willing to look outside of those sources at like actual science. that contradicts everything you're saying and that has been proven and continues to be proven as true, while what you're saying is not true. It makes me sad that there are people who listen and believe and follow and don't see the results that they're hoping for because they're not her. They don't have her genetics. They live completely different lives. I could keep going, all the factors that play a role in how our bodies work. I am fascinated by the human mind. Like, I'm your basic woman. I like true crime and cult documentaries, and I'm fascinated about how the mind works and how people can be so easily swayed. So in conclusion, I think it is safe to say that our dear friend Freelee has no concept of what binge eating looks like, is, how it's experienced, and furthermore, how you overcome it. For being 2 shorts, a total of like less than 3 minutes. Wow, I talked for a long time. Editing this is gonna be a bitch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy it, you give it a thumbs down. That is cool too. I do not mind. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit the notification bell to stay notified of all future uploads. If you have any comments, questions, video suggestions, anything at all, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Be sure to go follow me over on Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye!